Rebuild the citadel and protect your citizens in Thebai. Thank you for joining us at Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Melissa Delp.
And I'm Kevin Delp. Thebai is a dice worker placement game for 1 to 4 players that takes about 2 hours to play.
It's designed by David Turksey and published by Board and Dice.
And the publisher sent us this copy to review.
In this video, we're going to give a quick overview and then discuss our opinions.
The game comes with a main city board and 2 sideboards. Each player has an estate board. The standees and most of the tokens are cardboard, the dice are plastic, and the player pieces and tiles are wooden. The game also comes with several types of cards. In Thebai, you're an influential leader trying to rebuild the citadel, expand exports, and protect the citizens. After 10 rounds, the player with the most points wins.
Each round has 2 phases, the action phase and the fate phase. During the action phase, each player takes a turn placing a citizen die and then moving their Archon meeple.
You can place a die on an action space on your estate board or next to a tile on the city board. If you place in the city, you can activate one adjacent tile or pay coins to activate both.
After resolving your die, you have to use your Archon by either placing it in the city or, if it's already in the city, by moving it or removing it. It can't stay on a tile it already occupies. Your Archon can move on a path across dice and up to 1 empty space. Now you do have to pay a coin to jump a space.
If you travel over another player's die, you increase its value. If you travel over your own die, it decreases. You activate the tile your Archon ends on.
After everyone has taken a turn, you move to the fate phase and activate the round's fate tile. Comfort tiles give benefits and scoring opportunities. Conflict tiles trigger a battle, endgame scoring opportunities, and turn order adjustments.
Battles aren't against other players. They're against specific invaders. Each player compares their battle strength against the invader to determine whether they earn rewards and gain or lose victory points.
After resolving the fate tile, the next round begins. At the end of 10 rounds, there's final scoring, and the player with the most points wins.
That was a really high-level general overview. A lot of other channels like Paul Grogan's Gaming Rules have a more in-depth walkthrough of the rules.
So we'll cover some more details about gameplay as we discuss our opinions.
And we're separating the sections into our 4 C's. Our critiques, our commendations, our comparisons to other games, and finally, our conclusions. So let's start with the critiques. So my first critique has to do with the cover. It's got these 2 people battling each other, and I would assume, looking at this is like, oh, you're actually battling like another opponent. But as we said in our overview, you're actually not battling each other. Now, you are sort of in the sense that you're looking at like comparison, is Melissa doing better than me? But you're
it's
battling.
More indirect player.
Yeah, you're directly battling the game board. I don't know if that comes across in the game cover. I mean...
Oh, so you're concerned that maybe people might have the wrong impression. Yeah. Kind of like with Scythe, with people thinking it's going to be this mech battling,
battle war game.
But it's a Euro game, whereas this one also is.
This is definitely a Euro game.
Yeah.
But I guess the theme does come across. So even though it is a little bit of a critique, I think it does come across as this is set in this, time period that has these wars going on. So that's like a half critique. But I think it's good to know what you're getting into, and covers say a lot about what the board game is, so.
Okay. My critique is the resource tokens. They're just kind of cardboard. I think this is a lot of board and dice games kind of have just basic tokens for your resources. They work fine, but they're not that impressive.
I was actually confused at the very beginning because they had little breastplates for I think it's bronze. I was like, oh, that's bronze. I mean, I guess it made sense.
Like you think it's armor.
Yeah, I was thinking
just bronze.
It's just bronze in general. So I think a lot of times when we play like older Euro games, we were just used to wooden tokens. Or those are the bronze, those are the stone, those are the wine, or whatever.
Yeah, so not a big critique.
Yeah.
I do think board and dice Euro games tend to be a little less expensive than some others, so you're getting a lot of the gameplay and not necessarily the bling. I believe they do have an upgrade option for the coins, metal coins that you can purchase separately. Still talking about the components, the dice, I like that they have the two different types, the citizens and the hoplites. And as you upgrade them, it's one with a star, two with a star, three with a star.
Yeah.
And
for the 6 sides.
Right, for the 6 sides. And the stars are kind of small. Like, it can be a little, like, if you're just glancing, you can kind of overlook the stars of, like, which level is my dice on? What's it going to go to the next upgrade? And then I'm used to dice with pips, so like, 1 and 6 are on opposite sides, and 3 and 4. So with this, when I'm like, I'm going from the 2-star to the 3, which side's the 3 on? Or I have to degrade my dice. How do I find the next one down? So I found that slightly fiddly. It's minor critique.
I will put a little commendation. I actually do personally like that there is a star, so you sort of, at a glance, can know, I am going to go to the next level. So I think that's actually kind of helpful that you sort of know, which one is it on?
Right. I think maybe if the star were just a little bigger, it would be helpful.
Another small critique are the standees. So you have 2 main standees. You have the Strategos tiles that have numbers on them, and then you have the Commander tiles. The Commander tiles, really well done. There's a little bit of a space at the bottom, so when you slot them into the standee, the plastic standee, you can still see the full Commander. But for the Strategos tiles, they didn't do that for some reason. I'm not sure why. So when you slot them into the plastic standee, it covers like a quarter, 25% of that number.
Because the number is down instead of up, and they don't have the extra space.
They don't have the extra space for it to sort of lift up so you can see the full number. It's a minor thing, but it's like, well, why didn't they do that for the Commander? Like, or why didn't they do it like the Commander tiles?
Yeah, so the numbers, because it is important what the number is for the battle strength and all of that. My last critique, again, this is minor. It's not something that I'm like, this is terrible.
We had to dig for these critiques.
I'm not sure. Like, when I think of a lot of the tea games, there's a lot of innovative things that are happening in them.
Yeah, like Takenu.
Right. Takenu had the obelisk that turned, and also you're weighing your dice. And even Teletum, which feels more standard Euro, the dice having the opposing values for the number of resources and the strength.
Yeah, that's cool.
Those were really interesting things. I'm not sure if Thebai has anything that I would stand out and say like, this is the like hook or the amazing thing about this game. I think it does all work together well, but I don't know if it has a standout feature, if it will like really pop, I guess, is my critique of. Not that every game has to have a gimmick or...
Right. It's a great good game, but maybe it doesn't have that sort of, like you said, a hook or a thing like, wow, I really want to learn more about what that thing is.
This is the thing when I describe it to people that I'm really gonna talk about.
Well, let's move on to our commendations. So I like that this has a definitive number of rounds. It's a 10-round game, and in the game, they have the fate tiles. There's 10 fate tiles that go out. No, they're random sort of...
yes,
random-ish.
It tells you what type of tile to put on each slot, but in most of the slots, it's a stack that you're shuffling.
Yeah. So random-ish, 10 rounds that are going out. I like that you can sort of see what's coming, and only the first 5 are revealed. So you're not overwhelmed at looking at all 10, so a little bit of secret stuff going on that you don't know what's coming, sort of. And then number 2, they will get revealed as you are going through each. So at the end of round 1, round 6 fate tile is revealed. So it's a sort of this time track that sort of helps you know what round you're in instead of like, did we move the round tracker? Right. so that's nice. And then usually it's telling you you're going to, the fate tiles, like you're going to fight at this time. You're not going to be fighting every single round most of the times, but you're going to be fighting at certain rounds, and those fate tiles are the ones that tell you that. So you have time to place out your hoplite dice that add to your strength. Now, you do have to spend coins in order to make sure your hoplite dice stay out from round to round, but I like that it has that in the game.
Yeah, I definitely like it not being a surprise. Like, oh, let's flip over a tile and see what happens.
By the way, you just got destroyed.
Yeah. So, like you were saying, I do like that you can plan a little bit ahead, but that is not overwhelming for someone like me who needs to take in a bunch of stuff. With the dice, it's basically a dice worker placement game, and the value of the dice, 1 to 3, in a lot of the spaces will determine the strength of your action, not in all the places.
Yeah, but that's cool.
Right, and I like that the dice can be upgraded. There's no rolling of dice in this game. You have actions and rewards that allow you to upgrade dice, but then there's also the other players using your dice as pathways will also upgrade them. So that's interesting decisions that you're making during the game of, oh, if I go over this die, I'm going to help Kevin. But if I go over my own die, it's going to decrease it.
Yeah.
And then there's the aspect of dice ascending. So once they get to 7,
right, past the 3.
Past the 3, they go to another board that eventually you'll be able to use those dice to claim endgame goals. So when that happens and how often that happens determines how many endgame extra scoring things you can do. So I enjoyed that part.
I like that as well. Many of the T games, many Euro games, there's tracks involved. I don't know what it is about tracks, but I'm a fan. And maybe it's just like you can sort of see at a glance that...
You definitely were like, I'm going up this track and I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, and I had a lot of like abilities or cards that let me go up tracks, which is kind of cool. So they're devotion tracks, and in this one there's 2 main ones that you're going up on the sideboard, and they both have benefits that you're getting. Man, there's some that near the top that those benefits, I think one of them is, at one of the games that we were playing, it was you don't decrease the value of your die when your Archon moves over it. Boom! I'm like, I'm getting that one.
So, yes, Kevin likes tracks.
Yeah, I like the tracks.
There's 2, so it's not like super overwhelming.
No, not overwhelming.
The devotion track and the war track, and they both kind of help with different things.
And then you have the medic tiles that help with influencing the citizen dice, like the little numbers. So
yeah, you can use them as extra dice on your estate. So another thing, Kevin sort of mentioned it already with the 10 rounds in the game. That's 10 turns because you're only taking 1 turn each round, but it still feels like you can do a lot of things because on your turn, you're placing a die and moving your Archon. So you're most likely getting at least 2 things, and then you can fulfill contracts, which might give you more rewards. You can use those little tiles that you've gained from going up the tracks to do extra actions on your estate board. So there's a lot of comboing and chaining that can happen.
Yeah, definitely chaining.
To make your turns feel more robust. But yeah, 10 turns during the game.
We mentioned the Archon meeple that you're moving on the was that the city board, sorry. So there's a lot of strategy involved, and I like that. Not only am I going to place a die out on the city board, or am I going to choose the estate board, but that Archon meeple moving really matters because you're like, oh, I really want to get some wine, or I'm really, because it's going to, wherever it ends is what you're going to, get that benefit from. So there's the strategy on where do you want the Archon moving? How do you want to get him there? Do you have coins so you can or a coin to make it skip over a spot that doesn't have a die? Or is there actually like, not no way, but it's difficult to get to the spot where you want to get to?
Yeah,
or because you can't lose, if your die is at the lowest spot, you can't lose your die.
No, you lose 3 points.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, you lose 3 points. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, like I said, you can't do it.
And where your Archon is blocks that tile from other players too.
That's true. You did that, definitely. Yeah.
You can pass through them, but you can't end on the same tile.
Yep.
You do have the option of, if you can't move anywhere, maybe you don't have a coin or you don't want to, you can take it off and gain a coin. So it's kind of like a consolation. And then you next turn could put it any available spot. But yeah, there's a lot of things to think about in this game.
Yeah.
There's lots of ways to score points. I do like point salad-ish types of games where it feels like I can try a lot of different things and I don't feel like I'm pigeonholed into only doing one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like there are lots of ways to score points and to advance in this game.
Yep.
You have the contracts, you have the battles that are happening, you have those end game points if you can ascend your dice. And there's depending on player count, there's a lot of things to choose from on that end game scoring, the devotion tracks. So you can put your energy in different ways and not feel like, oh, I just blew it.
Yep. I like the tiles, the wooden tiles that are in the game. So you start with some on your player board, and as you're playing the game, you're actually moving those tiles from your player board, unlocking cool benefits or possibilities for benefits, and then you're placing them on the main board. So that when you're placing dice in between the tiles, it's aesthetically pleasing. It looks cool. You're sort of building up the city on the city board. So I like that.
Yeah, it's actually the Citadel.
Sorry, the Citadel, yes.
Which has the name that I can't pronounce.
That's okay. The Cadmia tiles, yes. And then those tiles themselves have little triangles on them with different colors. And as you're placing them, you're trying to match those colors to get you even more stuff. So there's Melissa was mentioning these points, but there's a lot of layers. Lots of different layers that you're trying to think as you're placing the tiles out, as you're like, I'm placing my dice out? What am I actually unlocking on my player board? How far do I want to get? All those things are, I think we use the word chaining, but connecting is another maybe a way to look at it, layering, connecting.
Right, because you can get benefits for emptying columns on your board, but as you go across on the rows, certain actions are better, so you're balancing those things. I forgot to mention that with the contract cards, there's a set collection aspect for endgame scoring of same type and different type, so you're thinking about all those different things during the game. So there's definitely, like Kevin was saying, layers and different strategies that you're going for.
We mentioned a lot about the cards, but those cards are cool with, how am I going to get the resources I need in order to accomplish them? And a lot of the cards have points on them. So those are good ways of getting points, those contract cards. We ready to do a little bit of comparisons?
Sure, let's do it. So Board and Dice has this official, unofficial series, I guess, of tea games. I actually did a video way back about ranking some of them. It's probably out of date now because they've put out more. But games like Teotihuacan, Tabanusi, Tequenu, Teletum, Taiwatan Suyu, Trismegistus.
I think that's the ones I know
Thebai.
Thebai.
There may be
well,
one or two.
Terracotta Army is starts with the T by top. So what I heard was it doesn't technically fall into their T game series, even though it starts with the letter T.
Well, and a lot of them have similar designers, Tassini, Xerxes. So there's a lot of overlap in some of the designers of the games.
Because David Turksey also has, did he do Nucleum?
Right, which is not a T game.
Not a T game, but he's done other games for Board and Dice.
Right. So comparing this one to the T series, I think this might be one of the lightest so far.
And we're not saying, when we say light games, we're not saying light as in general, we're saying light comparatively to the other 5 or 6 that we've mentioned.
Right. I think I would put it kind of similar to Teletum. Which BGG puts at about, I think, maybe a 3.3-ish, so low to mid 3s in the weight category of 1 to 5.
Which means it's more than a midweight game. This is definitely more than a midweight game, but what I like about this compared to the other ones, there's actually a lot of rules overhead. Compared to things like even Teletum, where there might be a little bit more rules overhead going in, making sure you know everything that's going on so you're not missing out. Or even Tequenu, there's a little bit maybe... there's just a lot of stuff that's connected to Teletum, to Tequenu, with placing the dice and then all the things that connect to that. Right.
Now, I do think there are layers of complexity.
I agree.
But they make sense and maybe not as many, little one-off things like, oh, don't forget about this.
The cards.
Or did you remember that?
Did you, like in the Takenu, I just remember sometimes it's like, oh, I forgot about those cards that are over there. How do I get those again?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's maybe a little bit more obvious of how the things connect and what you need to do.
And I think those fate tiles actually help with that. With the 10 rounds, it's like, oh, this is what's happening this round.
Kind of gives you a direction and to know, hey, this thing is going to happen.
Yep.
I'm either going to prepare for it or not.
Yeah, and you're limited in a sense. You're not. I don't want to use the word restrictive. I feel you're limited in like, oh, I am going to place a die. Where am I placing my die? Am I placing it here or am I placing it here? And what happens when I do that? So comparatively, I agree with Melissa. I put maybe a little under Teletum, maybe on the same level as Teletum, but I would say like...
definitely under Takenu, not even close to Taiwan Tsuyu or Trismegistus or some of those.
Trismegistus, even the new one, I think they streamlined a lot better. Can you see that one right there? Yeah, it's right there. Boop. Trismegistus, that they just did a new version of. I think this is a much better version of Trismegistus, but I think this is still a lot more complicated in the sense compared to Thebai.
Right. For another comparison, as we were doing the dice with the dice that kind of ascend and get more powerful, it reminded me a little bit of Teotihuacan with the dice that you're moving across the board and their value determines the strength. So not exactly the same, but a little.
Yeah, it has a little like call to that. So I appreciate that. There's a little bit of a connection on that. Well, why don't we move into our conclusions? All right, our final conclusions. Usually, I like to sort of rank where this falls in with the other T games. I know we just did the little comparison with them. But this is another solid sort of dice worker placement game. Teotihuacan, Takenu, Tabanusi, even Trismegistus, they all have this either dice drafting or dice worker placement. I don't think Taiwan Tsuyu has it.
I don't think so.
So a lot of the T games are doing something with dice. I think it's another solid dice worker placement game. I still like Takenu and Teotihuacan maybe a little bit better personally, but I think Thebai for me is better than Taiwan Tsuyu or Tabanusi. Trismegistus, it just has a good place in my heart. So.
And what about Teletum?
Boy, the themes are so different.
Yep.
So different. I might like the Teletum theme a little bit better.
Kind of more the medieval market.
It's got the medieval, I don't know what it is, medieval market. But I would probably play this, I don't know. I would probably play this with people who enjoy like that war sort of that theme.
Yeah, even though you're not really doing war things. Right, but it has that conflict.
It's got that conflict thematic going on. So, what about you?
Well, I was a little concerned going into it based on some of the designer's other games because he does have some like really heavy games. Taiwan Tsuyu sort of broke my brain a little bit, and even something like Nucleum. There's so much of that forward planning, and I'm only so good like 2 steps ahead, not 8 steps ahead.
Okay.
So some of the games that Xerxes has done are a little too heavy for me, but I was pleasantly surprised. Like we were saying, this one is not to that level of complexity.
But there is planning because you have to get the resources and see the connections.
Yeah, there's still depth of strategy and there's still some planning, but I feel like there's enough options that I feel like I can do something profitable each turn and not put myself into a corner where I feel like, oh, I can't do anything. I'm stuck.
Yeah, I felt that.
I guess if you play super poorly in any game, that can happen, but I feel like it's less likely to happen.
I agree.
In this one, so I found it more accessible than some of the heavier games. So, but still meaty with strategy and thinking. So, yes, it didn't paralyze me that I was going to make some bad decisions. Okay. And lots of opportunities to gain points and make progress. So I enjoyed this one. I think it's a good weight for me in decision space. Oh, are you going to ask me to rank it?
She sees me. She knows what
the panic in my eyes. Oh, on the spot rankings. I think, and even I don't remember what order I put the
That's
other
fine.
games in when I did my video.
I know
I think my current order is, I think Tekenu is still one of my favorites because it's just so unique.
So cool.
And it clicked for me.
Yeah.
I really like Teletum, the theme and what you're doing and lots of opportunities.
Yep.
I think I would slot Thebai maybe
Third or
under
fourth. Okay.
Teletum. Teotihuacan, I have just never really clicked with that.
I know
one.
it wasn't as favorite as the other two, so I'm interested. I was interested to hear. Did you like this maybe a little bit more than Teotihuacan? It sounds like you did because it clicked.
I think so.
Okay.
I think this one clicks for me a little bit better than Teotihuacan.
3 for Melissa.
But yeah, a solid entry into the T series, especially if you're wanting those mid heavy.
It's definitely medium plus.
Yeah, medium plus weight and not necessarily that next tier of heavy game.
Well, thanks so much for watching. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you played other T games? Let us know which ones your favorite ones are. Are you going to pick up Thebai? I know this is, I think it'll be released at Essen, so check that out at the Board and Dice booth. And yeah, check out more videos coming soon from Tantrum House.